Hello, today Renfield plays toward Reklev's Peoria Regionals winning Lost Zone deck featuring the Sableye and Radiant Charizard. This deck uses Comfy and Colress's Experiment in order to put cards in your own Lost Zone, but that in turn will enable the Cramorant and the Sableye to attack for very efficient numbers and take very cheap knockouts. This deck then closes out by using the Radiant Charizard, which in itself is a very strong hitter for very few energy. Tord is one of the greatest players in the world. He has won numerous international championships and regional championship level events, and one of his trademarks is using very consistent decks. There's a lot of fours in the deck list that you see before you, and that calls to mind when Tord won the 2017 North American International Championship using the Drampa Garbodor deck that played 4 Tapu Lele GX. Not a very common count in that deck. Let's take a closer look, though, at how he might have come to some of these deck conclusions. On the left here, we have Kazuki Kumegawa's second place Yokohama Champions League list. This is a list that became very widespread online as international players looked to Japan to see which cards have their first success there in major tournaments. And while there are quite a few similarities to where this popular list started and where Tord ended up taking it, there's also some significant differences. Pokemon by and large are quite the same, the supporter choices mostly the same, the energy the same. A lot of switching trainers that enable to use Comfy over and over again. A few key differences though. In the international list from Japan, we have the Serena that has been switched over to cross switchers. A couple of reasons for this. One is that we don't have Serena, but it could just be boss's orders. However, there's multiple reasons why you'd rather have cross switcher. It is a trainer card, so you can combo it with Colress's Experiment, with Clara, if you want to get Radiant Charizard back from the discard pile, but you also want to knock out a bench Pokemon. It also is a solution to the Empoleon V. If your opponent has bench Pokemon that are not Empoleon V, which would turn off your Comfy and your Cramorant, then you can switch it to the bench, use more of Comfy's Flower Selecting, then use Cramorant to attack that turn without having to deal with the Empoleon V's annoying ability. It also allows you to again, use supporters that turn that are not a gusting card. The deck doesn't play Level Ball. Level Ball only gets you Manaphy and Zigzagoon. We're not even playing Zigzagoon. It also gets you Sableye and Comfy, but we've just upped our count of the Fog Crystal instead. The two most important differences, however, I would say are the Echoing Horn. Tord plays no Echoing Horn. A lot of online lists have gone down 2 or 3 to include other cards, but Tord finding that he could scrounge the damage for 6 prize cards without bringing Pokemon back from the discard pile, as tempting as it might be to have this inclusion to knock out Sobbles. For example, Sableye's math enables you to knock out 2 60 HP Sobbles, so you can knock one out and then bring it back and knock out 2. Or to bring out V Pokemon that Charizard can deal with easily before they become V-Star or V-Max Pokemon. But Tord decided that he could get away without not playing this card, and that card doesn't help you in the early of the game, and very few of the card choices in Tord's deck would not be cards you want to see on the first turn of the game. The biggest difference, though, one I had not seen in online lists like the Cross Switcher, is the Path to the Peak in a count of 4. A lot of players were choosing to play the Cross Switcher in combination with canceling Cologne to turn off Empoleon and get around its annoying ability. Path to the Peak does the same thing, but it also stops annoying V-Star abilities that, of course, this deck doesn't have, like Arceus V-Stars or Palkia V-Stars, and just slowing those down, forcing them to have to find stadium cards to bump your Path to the Peak, that would annoy them. And it might seem counterintuitive to play Path to the Peak because it turns off your own Radiant Charizard, but in this deck he upped his count of Lost Vacuum to 3, and that enables you to annoy your opponent with the Path to the Peak when it is convenient in the early game and you're attacking with cards that don't care about it being in play, like the Cramorant and the Sableye. And then later in the game he can remove it. He can also use it to replace the stadium with his own stadium, because usually you can't play a Path to the Peak to get rid of a Path to the Peak, but you could get it out of your hand by playing a lost vacuum to put another one down on a feature turn. Let's take it for a spin, shall we? One thing I really do like about this deck is it must not have been very stressful for Tord to lose the coin flip, given that you can attack with Cramorant somewhat reasonably. First turn going second. That's always a good feeling, is playing a deck at a regional and knowing that you'll probably be okay, even if you lose the coin flip. Whereas playing a deck like Arceus, you're praying every time that you win the coin flip. Opponent's playing a Giratina Lost Zone deck. My hand is awful. We have no outs to Comfy right now. No Chorus's Experiment. Benches the Giratina. Okay. They do play Greninja. We saw Water Energy, so this is impactful. Let's put this down. Put this in play. Of these cards, I don't think I'm going to use the Guru first. I think I'm just going to hold it. Let's... They didn't put any tools or anything in play. Let's just Marnie. Could have put a switch card on top, but we play a lot of them. Did find a Battle VIP pass and a switch card. Very nice. So we will do that. Grab a couple of Comfies. Oh. We prized our Cramorants. That is ugly. Both of them. Huh. Hate to see it, but makes the game more interesting. Okay. Not sure on anything else super important. We've got mana phase if we want to get them, but this is probably more important right now. Let's play a switch card. I like the cards in my hand, so I'm not going to Primate Wisdom first. Okay. I think I can afford to get rid of a vacuum. I'll just be like safe, I think, and put the mana fee in play. They're not gonna like pull off a Greninja play next turn, so I don't have to do that right now. Let's just put the Experiment on top of my deck. Okay. And then we'll pass. We lose so much tempo not having Cramorant. Can't really be understated. Only got one card in our Lost Zone right now, since we didn't get to use Chorus's Experiment. Probably take a knockout on our Comfy this turn, I presume, with their own Spit Innocently. Maybe they prize theirs too. Who can say? Okay, so they don't get the attack. That's nice. It might have made my opponent's decision making more difficult, given that they couldn't use Greninja's concealed cards ability. We're going to start with Chorus's Experiment. There are a lot of cards we could use right now. We have to take this. The energies. Yeah. Marnie would be nice. How many? We didn't prize any. I think we do want to take the Marnie, actually. Marnie's so strong in these matchups. Okay. So we got 3 in. Didn't get any switching cards. Let's Primate Wisdom. I haven't discarded any of these. Let's save Primate Wisdom actually and just retreat manually after flower selecting. Take this. This guy, it's very important, the gusting. It's tough. That's a hard one. All right. I think I'll do that. Especially tough since I just used an energy to retreat. But that's a hard one too. We can't attack this turn, so I think experiment for next turn is actually better because I can put on top of my deck. How many are we up to? Yeah, we're gonna be up to 5. 2 more and a comfy. This is like the most important card to find right now. Let's put him on top of the deck. Okay. I don't want to get another comfy and use it right now because it would disrupt where my Colress is. I think I will just end my turn. This is the kind of deck that you want to play a lot before you take it to a tournament, because these flower selecting and colorless decisions, you are going to tie a lot if you do not practice making these decisions rapidly. Opponent manually retreats. They are probably desperately trying to find one of their own Colress's experiments. They can use Cramorant if they can find one this turn. But they don't. Okay. Well, we both had kind of weird starts here, huh? Let's start with the Colress. Probably are switch cards. Yes, that's what we've been wanting for a while now. Yes, take those. Okay. Let's use a switch card to bring up the comfy on my bench. Take a psychic, lose a psychic. Right, what does that put us up to? 8? Yeah. I think we want to go make sure that doesn't happen again. The other one's already in my hand. So we've got how many? 2 in the lost zone is pretty bad. Okay, and I'm missing a Clara, so I gotta manage my stuff really well the rest of this match. That was kind of ugly. Scoop of net. Comfy here. At this point, I think we Primate Wisdom. We can afford to put a Sableye back, I think. My opponent's win condition at this point probably does involve sniping, so I don't really want to get rid of this Manaphy. Escape rope is okay. I don't need that other air balloon, so I'll just take the Sableye back. How many Sableye can I reasonably attack with? I've got the energy in my hand. I've got the Clara. I could attack with 3. Okay, just making sure. And now we just need one more. Let's play the cart. Yeah. take the... yes. Okay. I'll put down that Manaphy. Attach to Sableye. Air Balloon the Comfy. Treat to Sableye. Thinking about benching another Sableye, but I want to leave a spot open for Cramorant, I guess. Let's... take a knockout. And put the remainder here, I think. Yeah. I could have just put 3 there, putting it up for Charizard, but I don't think 2 really matters on the Comfy. Well, that's not true. That's actually what I should have done. Yes, because then I could have taken 2 Comfy knockouts. I was trying to think of big charm math on the Giratina, but yeah, I should have put the 3 and the 2. That would have been the smartest thing to do. Okay, so they get on the board here. That's fine. We didn't find a Cramorant still. Whatever. Okay, I can get back 2 of these Psychic Energies, but this is my last Clara, because the other one is over here. That's a little challenging. We're gonna need to make good use of Cramorant, is what that means. So, let's use it, because we want to attack this turn. Okay. Attach energy. Put down another Sableye in case they disrupt me. Let's use Primate Wisdom and put the Marnie on top of my deck. Okay. I'm not going to use Flower Selecting. I'm just going to take out their... It's just hard enough for them to find one Cramorant, so I'm going to knock out the Cramorant. And then I will put 10 damage here. Still no Cramorant. I'm a little worried where our prizes are going to come from, given that we can only use Charizard 1 time. We're going to need Cramorant. That probably gets another Cramorant. This is where those damage counters are kind of biting me because I can't take a double knockout here with Sableye. My opponent can Mirage Gate, but their best Mirage Gate option... Oh. They're not having a very good time, huh? Let's Wisdom the Marnie. Okay. I'll attach. Does it benefit me to just get rid of the path now? No, I don't think so. Let's take knockout. Put some damage here. Is there a threshold where it changes in my math on Giratina? Like cram, I guess. So 1 more here. Just need to find one more. We still didn't find Cramorant. 2 of our last 3 prizes are our Cramorants. At this point, we're so far ahead, it doesn't matter, but... I mean, we could get Roxanne. We could get Roxanne and stuck. At least I have a backup Sableye ready, but... Finding the fire energy is probably my last important thing to do. There's the Roxanne. So they're not out of it. I did say finding that fire energy would be important. Giratina has been an extremely popular deck on online tournaments this past week. They can use their V-Star now. Okay. Let's put... fire energy back. I want to use the vacuum, but I don't want to get rid of these cards. I'm not going to flower selecting. The odds of us getting a Cram are really good, so I'm just going to assume that that's going to be our attacker next turn. You don't play the... Really? If I hadn't recorded this game, I wouldn't have believed it. So we can't do anything this turn. We couldn't attack a Charizard if we want to. So because the opponent hasn't taken enough prizes, so we're just gonna like try to get closer to Charizard, but if I use the Lost Vacuum, my opponent could put down their own path, and that wouldn't be great. I'm gonna thin out the deck, I guess. This is tough. Yeah, let's thin out the deck. We can't use this Sableye. So let's put it on top of our deck. Get rid of it with flower selecting. Okay. I'll retreat into this one. We'll try to build our hand some more. Colress. Just need to get to Charizard now. And we wait. I could put like Manaphy active if I want to. Yeah, let's do that. Some of these decks play a second Roxanne, but they play Boss's Orders for their supporter. Some of them play a Marnie in addition to Roxanne. We have Win with a card. Well, we don't have any cards that find Charizard. We just need to actually find the Charizard. Thinking back to last turn, I probably should have done the Primate Wisdom on my second flower selecting, but I don't think it made a huge difference. My opponent is probably running out of energy with which to keep doing this. Okay, so we'll start with Comfy. Okay, so we were looking for a specific card. Given that we're looking for a specific card, what is the best way that we can get to the Charizard? Flower selecting or Colress's Experiment? We don't need to like do this battle VIP pass, put it on top of the deck thing, because we're only looking for one card to win. I'm just gonna start with the card that's gonna see the most cards. This is good. This thins the deck a card. This helps us win next turn. Okay. I can pull off double cross switcher, so it's okay for me to use escape rope here. Let's do that. I didn't use the flower selecting. I thought about it too. Man, I didn't get it, huh? They're not totally out of it yet. You can still do one more. I'm just using a lot of resources now, though. Could I get into a spot where I actually can't retreat? That's what I need to be worried about. If I scoop up net and I bring up this Comfy, I could get into a spot where I can't retreat, unfortunately. So I think I'm gonna sit pat. Didn't find it there either. So they pulled this back just because of our inability to put together a Charizard here at the end of the game. I'm playing it pretty conservatively, and well, that wouldn't be the biggest issue if we just had found a Cramorant. We've been very short on attackers. We had that flower selecting that was double psychic too, which meant that we would get only 3 uses of Sableye and not 4 this game. We've got 7 cards in deck though. Should be able to see all of them with a combination of Comfy and Colress's Experiment. So unless my opponent can heal that Giratina or disrupt my hand, I think we have it. We should have it. All right. You can see 2 cards here. There's the Charizard. Okay. Play it down. We use the vacuum. Get rid of the Paths of the Peak. Double cross switcher. Charizard. That exciting heart ability uses Combustion Blast for 250 damage. Good game to my opponent. That's going to do it for this one. What'd you think? I think it was a pretty innovative list to include 4 Paths at the Peak. As you could see there at the end, it made my decisions being, not that experienced with the deck. A little more interesting whether or not, did my opponent play Paths of the Peak? I didn't want to remove mine and then just have it replaced because then it would shut down my Charizard. The fact that we prized both the Cramorants made that one much more interesting than it looked like it was going to be at the beginning. It looked like we were going to run away with it, but then we just couldn't attack a lot. You are vulnerable with a single prize deck, especially to a card like Roxanne, because this deck relies on building a pretty big hand with a lot of options. But we did get to Sableye's Lost Mine rather quickly. My question of the day for you to respond to is going to be, what's your favorite card from the Lost Origin? Do you like the Giratina? Do you like the Comfy Engine? Do you like one of the less played cards, like the Magnezone V-Star? I sat next to a very interesting Magnezone and Rotom deck not this weekend, but this past tournament at Peoria Regionals. My favorite card has been the Gift Energy. When you can play Gift Energy with a Regigigas, that's really fun. Anyway, stay tuned for our next episode. And thank you for watching my first Pokemon Trading Card Game video. This has been Renfield Plays. Later.